Hey, good morning. Happy July 6th, everyone, man. It was very hot out now. It's raining around these parts anyway. Just taking a minute to give you a tip of the day here, man. These people are completely godless. And that's the only problem here. They say it don't matter, it do matter. They say, well, implicit bias. Oh, no, there's something very simple that's happened en masse, not only in our country, all around, but particularly in this one. Everyone was godless for too long. It did warp their minds. They do not care. It is a very simple thing. They just don't care. They want to snuff out anything at all that could be construed as someone who actually cares about what God say to do, let alone our Constitution. Sure enough, they're all Satanists. They all worship a little gremlin, basically. So they don't care about anything other than it leads them to be lawless, not just in terms of what God says to do. It offends the sensibilities. They want to be a complete harlot. They want to celebrate that. They want to teach the children to do that. They act like there's not a reason for the past 2 years where literally like at least once, if not 3 times a week, teachers are being busted for like grooming and chomo and raping and things. It's not a one-off. It's part of their religion. It's the same reason they can order stuff on the door. Shush, 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 shush. Every one of them, they have all resigned themselves to they already know it's completely the way of the world. And I don't know what else did not have on my bingo card, even in the thick of years and years I've been on saying there's stuff about it. You're definitely not in Atheistville. I don't know. I'm doomed to understand. It's very simple. They're saying it's not what Bible says. That's ridiculous. Where's your proof? Even as I assure you they are censoring the proof. They've been talking about all these orbs and things. Yeah, it might be that stuff. Let alone like a manifestation of demonic then they make some crappy Spielberg movie. No, it's manifestation. Whether you have the lizard eyes or the little diamond sparkly eyes or skins crawling around or even the good old-fashioned, I don't know, Bilbo, he only wants his ring back. Frodo, can I have it? No, okay. Strange flesh. They have a limited set of skills when they huff spooks and collude with demons and do the idolatry, and yet not a whiff of that. That sounds ridiculous. We're atheists here. We don't know about that. That is literally just part of your problem. The other problem is the people posing as Christians who would say, yeah, there's that stuff, but we're Christian. 100% of the atheists and Christians in this country, they're demonic. They're demonic. They know right away they're not allowed to do what they are doing. They do not care. You see the social media is completely rigged, but why? It's because they are using it for evil. If you want to tell look what they normally, these people are allowed to piss on the ground, encourage people to, it's just, why bother to even get into it? It's very simple. It's very simple. They have no faith in God, and they say what's in your heart and your mind doesn't matter because there's not some invisible, even as that is literally its earth, and at some point he's going to snap and pour his indignation down on you, and you even do censor supernatural shit because you do not live in Atheistville, nor do you live in it's what the witchcraft witches say, even though there's crazy spirit stuff that's the only reason they're nuts is because they are hiding that stuff. And the high priestess and the cook and the spooks and the go-go-go-goos. And they just won't admit it. And they say, it's written right on up until God snaps. They'll just keep doing. So because they don't wish to fulfill anything other than that, that's what they're going to fulfill. Really, it doesn't. I don't know what else to say about it because hell if I'm lying, sir, ma'am. Not once. No, matter of factly, that one showed up, lit up the entire sky. This is after I met him a couple of years later. Lit up the sky just to ask if I was okay. Say, be right back. And he came back and lit my feet on fire. Then quenched it in a way that, healed me from it. I'm not lying even slightly. I would pass lie detector test. I'm assuring you they have it on camera. I'm even assuring you they persecute me without cause, and they take me behind my back, and they even get the children and everyone else to hold up their cameras and do it in an organized degree for decades, just because. Shush, guy, and Masons and the Satanists and the Omais, they've got all kinds of schemes to edify how lawless and above the Constitution they are, a veiled system of treason, and that's what they are doing. They can't even admit, yes, sure, we know everything's rigged on the internet. Why would that matter? Well, you're going to stiff-arm some people and say we're causing all the trouble just because we're telling the truth about pathological liar club. And they make you people their mark, and then among these ones, they stole everything. They do know that. They elect left and right. They vote for whoever's going to funnel them crooked money. And they worship people who can get them quick scheme money. And they don't take to heart. God sees in your heart and your mind, not content to just be, I don't know, secular, but, the love of money and the love of like sleeping around or anything else, but at least you understand you're not trying to shank people here. Nothing like that. Their only religion is they lord it over, and they are hyper-focused on persecuting and troubling people. They think they're so smart because they know about demons. God's playing a trick on them. I'm assuring you, you don't live in Atheistville, and he's going to snap and send Jesus to whoop us. Don't do that. That's why I said you would want to be repair the breach people or the Ezekiel bone. You wouldn't want nothing to do with what these people understand they have taught the children. The phone is good. Make sure you do. What they have done is they've used cool and this and that in the minds of the children. Tell them to keep their trap shut. Slander some of us like, while they are avowed Satanists, intentionally warring against Christendom, let alone our Constitution, perverting the way, every single thing they do is a completely deceitful. And yet not one of them can ever have it pegged even slightly. Not even slightly. Not even slightly. They resign to, they know that's rigged, but listen to them even as they don't admit that. It's so far, the implicit bias is just, if you're trying to help, if you want your free speech back, if you don't like the fact that they are all literally, minions, sheeple, but they can't admit this is all fake. It's rigged. People are fake. They like to go like that, but they don't know why or who taught them that, right? It's fake. They hate their God. They hate their God. That's what it is. We all have same God, and they hate him. Period. And they certainly don't give any of that. Jesus, they hate it. They hate it. They simply hate it. That one says, do not hide deeds in the dark. It does matter what's in your heart and your mind. Sin begins in the mind. Blah, 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 blah. They hate that one. So they do not tolerate people who actually care about that. They don't tolerate it, I can tell you. No, they don't do that. No, they know they're famous. That's what's so bizarre. I'm trying to say, when I went on for begin with in 2019, it was because I had already exhausted all kind of not doing that. And I fully understood. Oh no, they will pose their entire lives as they'll run the churches, they'll do the stuff. Then maybe they have family and your friends, right? For certain. And the whole time, it's not once what they do. That's not once their religion. Nothing like it. Seem that way and do all kinds of crooked. They were gangsters in the past. Really, your guess is as good as mine. These days, they're all crooked. They know they're crooked. And they break it down into, so I try to warn them. Because you don't live in Atheistville, because God is going to snap. He will send his son to whoop you. That's why. Don't do that. They don't care. Not one of them care. They're not going to fix anything. Not even slightly. They'll go on like this until God's had enough. But he's gonna snap. I do know that. So I kind of am. I'm just some schmuck. You're wrong. No. I'm just another person. Didn't have on my bingo card even in 2021, when August of 2021 and then 2025. I'm telling you, there's crazy stuff. You're offending our Creator, who created us, who breathed life into us, just to spit on it so you can prove you're super sexy cool. They let things they should not get in the way, and now they say they hate whatever the truth of the higher power is, to the point where they do censor it, just so they don't have to do better. And just so they don't have to admit, yeah, maybe there was some state-sponsored scam where we know we don't abide in the Constitution whatsoever, and 100% of us would get sent away if, things were fair. That's our country, left, right, and center. The Congress knows it. The dumb president knows it. Everyone knows it. The Democrats, the dumber Republicans, whatever you want to call these people, they're being fake. But they don't bring even one receipt as to how they know they're being fake. In what way are they just trying to prop up pathological liar people on the stuff? And then those of us saying, no, there's a big problem in our country. It's moral rot, and it's also lawlessness. They don't abide even in the laws of their own land. And then they will call you a snitch and shut up. We're trying to live our best lives as thieves here. Literally the entire time. You can't take it with you, but you can't get grace if you die understanding you're serving and keep that trap shut, precious. But that's all that has been going on in this country and the other ones for the entire time I've been on the air, long before 2019 when I first went on and pointed out, they'll censor this. They're already doing something. They already used me as an ingredient, Nickel. I do know that. I used to have friends who at times would give me a receipt or two. These days, they don't know that. No one knows that, right? And wait, and they talk behind the back, but they won't include once, but they say this and that, right? And it's beyond hate. It's organized hate. You can't take it with you, but, all I can do is warn you, you don't live in Atheistville. In fact, you would need to know about Yahweh and his son, Yahweh on righteousness. That's the one. Jesus, Son of God, the Christ. So, but I get it. We live on earth where people fight about this and that and that and that. You don't take to heart that, but he did do that. God so loved the world that he did do that. He sent who? Not you and me, that's for certain. We have a separation of church and state. We even do. It doesn't matter if it's you are allowed to believe or not believe whatever the hell you want in this country. That is certain. That's the law. You are also not allowed to get persecuted or held down because of such things any which way. But that's not what happens here. That's not the case. Because they are godless for too long, it's just real easy for them to pal along with like-minded people. If only there was a club set up to slow boil them like lobsters their whole lives, tell them to look for codes or clues or worship money, but listen to us. We gave you this position. That is them. That's the way of the world. But the problem right now is the citizens are like that. It's not just the big and poor. It's not anything like that. No one cares. They're all very excited to eradicate this belief. I don't like it. It offends them. They cannot do that. God's going to snap. He's already doing stuff. I'm trying to tell you. Because I'm trying to tell, what do I get out of it? I'm not lying. Not even slightly. That's what bothers me about such things. These people have no faith. Their faith works in a way that they are happy to keep their trap shut. Never once would they do unto others if, it affects a scam or three. Never once. They hate their God. That's the problem here. That's the only problem here. We're implicit, but it's literally that. It's not other stuff. It's literally just that. So, I pray for it, but I've done that the entire time. There's nothing even slightly to these people other than they're going to keep lying and deflecting, and then that must make them cool. They're all Gambino cool or whatever. And then those people didn't think they were cool, but some did, but why bother? It's very sad. So, that's my big reflection of the day. These people do not appreciate for 1 second. Not only do we have a God, it's Yahweh who sees in the hearts and minds and does not change once. And he's slow to anger, but you have definitely provoked him to a fight. So, he's going to fight. He will not leave it whatever you say. He's not going to do that. Guess this is good because you do not do anything to get out of the way of it. You don't do one thing to get out of the way of it. You double down on you love this. And in what way are you doing it? In what way are we doing it? Every one of them, every day for decades. So they guys, listen, just go ahead and scoff and whatever you want, but I'm not lying. And I'm warning you, and I do care for you, and I get how little you care about that. But just noting it, it's Christianity, and you hate that. That's your problem. And you also hate just whatever the truth is. Oh yeah, you did know you were persecuting in an unconstitutional way and teaching children and to sneak and scheme in all the ways. That's only really you worship demonic wisdom, period. So God will get to the bottom of it at some point, but right on up until then, he says you should do nothing once. It's automaton. It's nuts to me because God gave us all a mouth, and yet you don't notice any of this shit, huh? And yeah, no, not one whiff. And that's not nuts, but that's why we don't let him. Meanwhile, you have people who are allowed to propagate, whatever. The black kid just stabbed the white kid. What was he supposed to do? Take the L? Of course, you got to kill him. These are people with lots and lots of followers trying to drive If you're black or white and you would defend some teenager who stabbed some other teenager to death for no reason, other than to do it, black or white, you wouldn't, this is the stupidest, most basic, but there again, you would, if you go by our social media at this, you would swear, 50% of the people think this way, and then 50%, well, that's not it. They pay 20 corrupt black people to go out and say that shit. Same as if it's completely rigged. They care about influencing because it's completely rigged. So the one thing they do not once mention is that 100% of them the entire time, even on Truth Social or the other, understand it's all a complete rigged piece of shit, just like Twitter. Or is it X, Mr. Mudd? Because not one of them is able to even slightly see the problem here with the doom loop of fake people who get propped up with. It's just nuts. I'm not the one. Wait a minute. Did I say that? Erica Kirk shot her wife and had all this stuff that you have people, millions of. No. Would I say that person should be banned? No. Certainly, courts are just going to be found to be a liar when he's found guilty beyond reasonable doubt in the court of law, and all the evidence they supposedly had to do, not one whiff of it, because, of course, they're just lying, just like lots of things. right? I mean, Macron's wife or this, I mean, the people, but those people, it doesn't matter. I'm saying the entire time they censor phones, they don't let emails work, they do all kinds of stuff. You go to a hotel room, they'll call you from them. I know, if you're marked out by these people with these CIA stooges or whatever, I mean, nothing. They're Satanists. The only thing they care about is hiding that they're unconstitutional deeds in the dark, because they reason the only thing the law is good for is to be rigged and gamed, and if they don't report it, then I guess it didn't happen. They made refuge of lies. They hide their deeds in the dark. It's a vain thing they plot. And then they just don't even, and then that's what's bizarre to me, because I assure you they know they're censoring. They did get that shit. They got plenty of, they know they don't live in Atheistville. It's not out of turn. I'm matter-of-factly telling you that. So, I mean, they know that. It still does not compel them to do even one thing to get out of what they're doing every day on the internet and here and there, and especially to the minds of the children, because they just have to double down it's nuts. Christians are faggots, but you're cool. I mean, it's literally the entire country, especially if they should go to church. That's really what they think, because if not, they would have to help us at least once, even slightly. They do not do that. Few people do, which is why I even know such thing is possible, but these people don't do that. They're pathological, the phone is good, they listen to phone. In what way do they know they're two-faced and only worship their all minions here? They're doing something behind the scenes, just pretend, but they're going to get whooped because they are doing that. That's the truth. And there's no one to bring a receipt or go. They do not do that. They don't do that. They double down on organized hate. That's all they do. Then they say, wait, I didn't seem like that. It's a complete nut. So that's a little, don't know how I'll post this, I probably will, maybe I won't. Either way, just checking in. Wow, horrible. So there's not much happy about it right now. It's bullshit. It's just desolate. That's what it is.